Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Jimmy. I'm here with the Fuji Xt1. If you have the Fuji Xt2, I believe this video should be very helpful for you as well, so please keep watching. If you aren't familiar with your capabilities when it comes to shortcuts or function buttons on your camera, watch video 1 first that I made in the description box below. If you can't find it, let me know. I'll be happy to help you. This video, part 2, is more about my personal settings and some things I found along the way while using this camera for a few years. Hopefully it will save you some frustration. Watch my settings. If you like them, use them. If you don't, scrap them and make up your own. And share them in the comments below. I'd like to learn more about what your preferences are and why, so I can go ahead and copy yours possibly. So here we go. I'm going to go over as a review where the function buttons are. Function button number 1. Function button number 2 is the Wi-Fi. Function button number 3, 4, 5, and 6 are the directional pad buttons right here. Up, down, left, and right. Not in that order, but you guys get the idea. The first question I get is, why does this say Wi-Fi? I thought you said it was a function button. Well, it is Wi-Fi as a default, and it even says it, and I believe they wrote it there or screen printed it there because they didn't want people to miss out on the Wi-Fi capabilities to connect wirelessly to your phone. For people who are not aware of function buttons or shortcuts, they can still use the Wi-Fi button because it says it right there and set as a default. It's a great selling point for the camera, and they didn't want people to miss out on it, is my opinion why they did that. But truthfully, this can be whatever function you want. There are plenty of options to choose from. The other question I get a lot is, how can directional pad buttons double as function button shortcuts? And that's a very good question. I'm going to turn on my camera to illustrate. I'm going to press menu here with my right thumb. I'm going to go up and down with the cursors here, up and down like this. There are things to choose from, right? I'm in the menu after all. If I press just the half shutter button here, I'm in live view mode right now. If I press up, down, left, and right now, you notice there's nothing to choose from. So that's when these buttons take on a completely different function. They become function button shortcuts. Okay, so it depends on what screen you're on. A menu screen, things to choose from, or a live view, these buttons will act differently. Okay, hopefully that answers those questions. I'll be going over my personal settings now, quickly. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's because you haven't watched video number 1 in the description box, so watch that first. Here is function button number 1. It controls the drive menu shooting modes. Okay, DRV is the code. Function button number 2 is Wi-Fi. I do leave it for Wi-Fi simply because I do use Wi-Fi and it says it there, so I don't want to confuse myself. I happen to like it, so that's where it is. It's Wi-Fi. 3, 4, 5, and 6, the up arrow I assigned as a shortcut to adjust AF mode, different auto-focusing modes. There's single point, zone, and wide tracking. If I press the left arrow shortcut, it takes me to film simulation. I have all these to choose from. Pretty cool. If I press the right arrow, I can choose different white balances for whatever condition or environment that I might be in at the time. Press back. If I press down, this shortcut leads me to choose different focusing points. At this point, I can also adjust the field and the size of the focusing point. I made a completely different video about this in the past, so feel free to look that up if you want to learn more about why it's so important to use this function and be very familiar with changing the point of your focusing. Okay, I use that probably the most out of all the function buttons. Now I want to go a little bit more in depth and share with you guys some things I've learned over the years and also clarify some things. This is function button number 1. When I press this button, it brings up a menu to adjust the drive menu. Okay, what is the drive menu? Right here, this rotating thing right here, bracket, continuously high, continuously low, single shooting, double exposure, advanced filter mode, and panoramic shooting. Different types of shooting, okay? So if I'm on any one of these and I press this button, it'll bring up their own specific menu. Okay, so I can adjust this drive menu. For the most part, we leave it on S. This is single shooting mode. If I'm just out taking pictures, 98% of the time, I'm taking pictures like this on single shooting mode. This is on a drive menu, so I want to adjust it, right? I'm going to press this button. Nothing happens. Why? Well, there's nothing to adjust in single shooting mode. This mainly adjusts here the advanced filters. What are advanced filters? They're sort of like Instagram filters that you have on your phone. They drastically change the appearance of what you're about to take a picture of, and it makes it a lot more fun. I'm always taking pictures. I want to change things up, and why not have fun with the filters your camera has already installed on it? So I want to adjust the advanced filters in the drive modes here. And I do that by pressing the front function button number 1. Watch what happens. Okay, just a second ago when I was on S, nothing happened, right? Because there was nothing to adjust. Now I'm in advanced filters, there are things to choose from. Advanced filters, I can go from toy camera, which is where it is at right now, miniature, pop color, high key, low key, dynamic tone, etc., etc. I'm going to leave it on dynamic tone for now and take another picture. It's adding that layer of processing right now, which is the advanced filter. So if I press play here, there's that picture. Pretty cool. You can't really see how cool it is. It does look pretty neat. Okay? Now, that's the advanced filters. As I mentioned before, this function button adjusts the menu for the drive modes here. If I go to a different drive mode, such as bracket, and I press this same button, watch what happens. A completely different menu pops up, okay? I can adjust the brackets that are available. There are so many brackets to choose from. ISO, film simulation, dynamic range bracket, different multiple exposure modes, white balance bracket. And if I want to adjust these, I just go like this and take pictures. Okay, so it took 3 at once depending on what I specified. But how do I get there again? By going to bracket and pressing this button out in front. I want to adjust. Boom, just go here, new bracket. Okay, now, do you need to sacrifice one of your function buttons to adjust the drive modes if you don't use it all that often? No, in fact, you can go to menu here, which is my right thumb, and the very first thing you see is bracket advanced setting, drive, DRV. Okay, you can go ahead and press right here, and boom, here is the exact menu we were just messing around with. I'm going to go to advanced filter select. I'm going to pick one of these. Now it won't shoot anything unless I go to a different mode. Right now I'm in bracket, so I'm going to go back to bracket select, and I can adjust here. My point is, this is the exact same menu that I got by pressing this button out in front. It's just a tiny bit faster and more convenient with my muscle memory knowing that's where it is out in front. If you don't use it all that often, feel free to not use that for that purpose and go straight to menu and adjust it from here. The second function button is Wi-Fi for me. As I mentioned, I left it this way because it says it and I didn't want to confuse myself. And I do use it from time to time. Look how fast that was. I'm already trying to connect to my phone. I can also go to menu, go down or take a left here and scroll down 5 menus deep, go to the right, and there it is, wireless communication. I'm going to press right here, and it's doing the same exact thing. Now, how much longer did it take to go through the menu? Just a few seconds, but it's just that more, it's less convenient and you're less likely to use it. It says it right there. Why not leave it at Wi-Fi right there? Now let's go over the fun function buttons right here. These are more ones I'm using more often. If I press the up arrow key, it goes to autofocus modes, as I mentioned. Single point, zone, wide tracking. These are different kinds of autofocusing. Single point is the one I'm using majority of the time. Literally point and shoot. It took 3 pictures just now because I left it on bracketing. I'm going to go back to S. Always be aware of where your settings last, you left them last, and that always happens to me. So I'm going to press up again and go to single point, zone. Zone is a different type of focusing. And then you can press up again to go to wide tracking. This is if you're doing things in motion, things like that, it has a whole screen to focus on. It's a type of autofocusing. I'm going to press down right now, and I'll show you guys the point I want to make. Nothing's happening. Wasn't down arrow what I set to adjust the point of focusing? How come it's not working right now? It's not working right now because these two functions are not playing well together. If I press up arrow, notice where it's at. It's set to wide tracking, meaning the whole view here, it can be used to track something or focus on. It's a type of autofocusing. That does not play well with trying to adjust a single point to adjust. Okay? If I press the up arrow again and go back to AF mode and go to, let's say, single point, there is now a single point right there. Can you see that little box? Now I press down. Now this menu comes up where I can choose a different point. Okay? What if I press up arrow again and choose zone tracking? It's a small little zone in the middle of the screen, and take a picture. I can press down arrow here and adjust this. You see this big block in the middle? What I'm trying to say is sometimes people say, oh, my function button doesn't work. Well, it does work. It just depends on what you currently have it set to. This down arrow will not work for wide zone tracking. It'll only work for smaller zone tracking or single point focusing. Okay? That also stands true, for example, if I'm on like S, for example, which is single shooting mode, and I try and press this button out in front to adjust. Nothing happens. So you'll find different combinations on your camera settings, the way you set it. If you're trying to figure out how to use a different function and it's not working, it's probably because you have another setting or another button slid in place that's not working well together. Okay, that's a big point I want to make in this video. The left arrow here, I want to move on to film simulation. There's different ones you can choose from, and I have a lot of fun with these. It doesn't take much longer to just go to Q menu here, which is a quick menu, and scroll over to the right here, and it's the same thing. This is an abbreviated version. Just quickly choose whatever you want. Okay? Now it's in black and white in the film simulations. Okay, or you can just press the left arrow, boom, and just pick one of these. It's all the same. Now, if I go to Advanced Filters, I'm now in Advanced Filters. If I press the left arrow here to choose a film simulation, I can't do that because I'm already using the Advanced Filters on the top left-hand corner, right? So another example of these things not working well together. They're not the same thing. One overrides the other, and this overrides this one. Okay, so I'm going back to single shooting mode, and I'm off the Advanced Filters mode. I can now choose a film simulation with my right hand. Okay, the right arrow very simply is the white balance. You can choose whatever you want. I usually keep it on auto. And that's pretty much it. Before I leave you guys right now, I want to go over just one more thing that you guys may not be aware of. As I was not aware of this a while back, there are actually 7 function buttons. As I mentioned before, there are 6 function buttons in a previous video, possibly in this video. With firmware updates on your camera, if you're not aware how to do that, watch a previous video that I've made on how to specifically update your particular camera step by step. It's important to do this because Fuji makes updates from their Fuji headquarters and sends it out to everybody who buys their cameras. One of them is, if I press the left arrow here, is the classic Chrome update. Okay, if you don't have this, you don't have the most updated version on your camera. That came out a while ago. Okay, and everyone loves the classic Chrome look. The other thing that came out among many other updates is a 7th function button. That is this right there. You may think of this as the movie button, and which it is by default. It even looks like the record button, right? But if you don't use the movie function all that much, you can assign this to something completely different, such as depth of field preview, or you can make this film simulation if you want to, completely customizable. Before I leave you guys, I'm going to go ahead and press display back for about a few seconds. Make sure you're not in anything at the time. Okay, I let go. I'm now in the function setting map here. You can see exactly what I set mine to. Okay, in order, as you can see at the bottom, there is a 7th function button. Very cool. My camera was not like this when I got it. This is all added on later with cool updates from Fuji's headquarters. Okay, from people's suggestions, they go ahead and do that and give it to us as the consumers. Function 1 is DRV, the drive menu. Okay, function 2 is the Wi-Fi, as I mentioned before. Function 3 is the auto-focusing selections. Function number 4 is the film simulation. Function button number 5, which is this right arrow right here, it's pointing to it, is the white balance selections. Function button number 6 is choosing the focusing point, that's the down arrow. And function button number 7, the bonus function button, is up here. And I just want to let you guys know, and you can copy these exact settings, and you can learn to do this in my very first video that I made when it comes to function buttons. And I hope to help a lot of you out there as to why I set it the way I did. And I hope it helps you too. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.